Hey guys, what's up? It is Tony here, and today we're going to talk about music. I thought it'd be an interesting topic to talk about since my channel is based mostly around editing, and editing has a lot to do with music taste, and some people hate, some people appreciate what music I put up, but at the end of the day, everyone has their own music taste, and I thought I'd address what mine is, and then turn the question back to you guys and ask you guys what your favorite music is. In the comments below. Now, when you ask me the question, what my favorite music is, I usually say all music, and that's probably one of the most annoying answers, and I know where most people are coming from, because whenever I ask someone that question and they say all music, basically the question's over with, because you can't really expand on that idea, but I kind of thought of a way I could, and I thought maybe I'd use longer videos, about 7 minutes, to explain where I got my music roots from and what type of music I like and how I developed those interests over time. So we'll start off here with growing up. Growing up, I had a mom and dad. Obvious, most people usually do. Kind of lost them towards later in my life. Not to death or anything. Just they got divorced. And yeah, my mom was more of she liked the hip hop side of things. She liked Jennifer Lopez, stuff like that, and 90s, early 2000s type of hip hop, and she forced me to listen to it growing up. I was born in '94, for those who didn't know, and yeah, so there's that. And then my dad grew up in the '80s, so he kind of stuck to his roots, and he liked a lot of metal, like Metallica, Iron Maiden, and he also liked some hip hop. He liked older rap like Run DMC and Beastie Boys and shit like that. He even knew the Beastie Boys. He met them. My parents grew up in Brooklyn, so it wasn't really that difficult to meet him. He's around 40, so they're about the same age, give or take. And yeah, so I mean, my main roots growing up were like newer hip hop and then 80s metal. And I kind of, growing up as a 90s kid, I listened to a lot of MTV, watched a lot of MTV. And through that, I watched a lot of music videos. And those music videos, mostly during the 90s, late 90s, were either some sort of rap. I listened to a bit of Eminem through MTV. And in addition to that, I also listened to a lot of punk rock, quote-unquote, like Sum 41, Blink-182. And I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate to that, since most of you are probably in your late teens to early teens. I mean, some kids aren't 90s kids, but most people on my channel, I'm guessing, are people from the 90s, who grew up in the 90s. So yeah, I mean, I had those types of tastes, and that's kind of like what my early roots are. But then growing up, I started listening to different sorts of rock from my friends' taste, like more punk rock, got into Yellow Card, got a bit into Chevelle. Chevelle was pretty sick. And then when I moved to Vegas, I got more into, not like Screamo, definitely not Screamo, but more like heavier rock, Killswitch Engage, Atreyu, stuff like that. Not the newer Killswitch Engage or Atreyu, the old good Killswitch Engage, Atreyu, Slayer, stuff like that. I mean, I also got into CKY a lot. So that was the kind of stuff I was listening to at that point. But then I kind of hit a rough spot in my life. A lot of things were looking down for me. My personal life, which I do want to talk about my personal life in the future, and things that went on around then. But yeah, I mean, I started listening to a lot of rap, because rap was kind of something that I can relate to in terms of what I was going through in my life. And I got a little bit into Eminem, of course, but like the old Eminem, like stuff like Role Model, My Fault, Rock Bottom, all that type of stuff, like his old albums, like Marshall Mathers, stuff like that. Yeah, and that stuff I can relate. A lot of it I can relate to. A lot of it probably wasn't positive reinforcement for what I was going through, because it resulted in me following some of the things that Slim Shady did. Not to the fullest extent. I wasn't fucking eating mushrooms every day. That's definitely a little extreme. But I kind of got in this negative mood, and it probably wasn't best for me. But it did teach me a lot, and I think Eminem still to this day is a good artist, and I still listen to him every once in a while. His new music's alright too. After recovery and all that stuff, I think it's pretty good. I think it's good that he's still making music. yeah, so after I got out of that kind of like rut, I kind of started listening to new types of music, and I listened to a lot of. At that point, I started listening to a lot of like techno, and there was no dubstep, by the way, at this point, but it was mostly techno, like shuffling music and stuff like that. Because I started hanging out with a bunch of Asian kids who wore like glowing fucking like rave clothes, basically. So I started listening to a lot of techno music. I got into that type of stuff, and that was pretty cool, kind of like that. And then I kind of stopped hanging out with a lot of those kids. That kid just got smacked. If you didn't see that quick scope. Yeah, so I stopped listening to that type of music because I kind of lost touch with a lot of those people, and I started hanging out with just average old friends that I used to hang out with a lot, that were more down to earth, close friends that I think I had. And at that time, I started listening to a lot of classic rock, and I got these roots from mostly my grandfather. My grandfather listens to a lot of 70s rock. And then late 60s a little bit. Jimi Hendrix, Jim Morrison with the Doors, the Beatles, did I say Led Zeppelin? I don't know if I said Led Zeppelin. And all that type of stuff. And then my grandmother got me into like the Beatles and got me into like Simon and Garfunkel and some Motown, some Temptations, that type of stuff. And a lot of good music I'm mentioning here. And then I started, just expanding my horizons with that. Then I started getting into like dubstep again. I started getting into dubstep because dubstep's just the shit. I'm sure most of you guys know that. I mean, it's not the most musically talented music, in my opinion, but it's still pretty cool. And then soon after I got into dubstep, I started getting into modern music. And modern music being, which is just recently, I've been listening to a bit of J. Cole. I've been listening to Drake, listening to a lot of rappers, mostly rappers. And recently, Screamo. Screamo's been a big thing for me. I got into Adept. I've been listening to Crown the Empire for quite some time. Crown the Empire is a pretty sick band. They're kind of new on the scene. They're more of a YouTube band. And I've been listening to Bring Me the Horizon. Asking Alexandria like fuck. One of my favorite bands right now. And now I've been listening to a lot of Mac Miller. Mac Miller's the shit because he's basically a white Wiz Khalifa and he's fucking sick. And yeah, so that's pretty much it. Now I want to turn the question back to you guys. What is your favorite type of music? What are your favorite genres? Name some of your favorite songs, your favorite bands, and disagree or agree with music that I complimented on. Maybe reminisce a bit with me if you're a 90s kid. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm Tony, and I'll see you guys next time.